So which drugs are approved to use for insomnia? So one famous drug class are the benzodiazepines. And how you can recognize them, they all end in LAM or PAM. Midazolam, triazolam, diazepam. So they all have these common endings, LAM and PAM. They were once the first-line medications for treatment of insomnia. Now they got supplanted by newer drugs, the so-called novel benzodiazepine receptor agonists, or a little bit shorter name for them is the so-called C drugs. Things like zolpidem, Saleplon, or esopiclon. They all have a Z in their name. We're going to remember zolpidem. So they are now the first-line drugs. You're going to see a lot of patients on Z drugs for the treatment of insomnia. Now we have a couple of newer kids on the block that I also want to mention. We have now melatonin agonists. And then the one that you should remember is ramelteon. And you can already see here melatonin is kind of in its name, so that's convenient to recognize it. And I'm sure you all know melatonin was used as a supplement and a sleep aid for decades, and now we have a drug that is really an agonist at the melatonin receptor, and there are a couple of it. This is the one that I would remember, ramelteon. And then an even newer kid on the block is a orexin antagonist. And the drug here in this class that I would remember is suvorexant. And you can also here see nicely orexin. So orexin is in its name. So this is another good help to recognize a orexin antagonist. Now I just want to finish up this overview and saying that the benzos and the Z drugs, which you're going to see most around, all have one common target, and this target is the Gaba receptor. So that's what they target, the Gaba receptor. And this Gaba receptor is a chloride channel. So it lets chloride through. It has these 5 subunits, lets chloride through. And GABA binds to it. So let's say this is a GABAergic neuron. There is GABA released. There is a binding site on this chloride channel, so GABA binds to it. And then the chloride channel opens, lets chloride in, leads to hyperpolarization, and then there's less likely an action potential, and therefore it's going to lead to CNS depression. So GABA is our major inhibitory neurotransmitter. And we're going to see how these drugs affect the GABA receptors. As you can already predict, those two have completely different mechanisms of action. They will not target the GABA receptor.